Welcome back, everyone. I need us to settle down so that we can swiftly get on with the program. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I think whoever needs to be here is here already. Anyone else will catch us on our way. So, thank you for a wonderful first session. There was vibrant participation and engagement, and I'm hoping that that's the spirit we can take all the way to the end of our 2-day Indaba. Let's not worry too much about what's not covered, but try to do our best with what we're able to cover in this short space of time that we have. And then a wonderful welcome to those who are finally tuning in via the Nelson Mandela Bay Facebook page, as well as the YouTube page of the municipality as well. You may have missed the first session, but there will be a report of the discussions that we've held here, as well as a summary at the beginning of tomorrow's session to get a sense of what we discussed in today's session and the decisions that have been made. Once again, I am Zolisa Mahau, and I do not work for the municipality, actually. So my views are my own. I am trying to get the session going. I'm not a representative of the municipality. Neither am I a representative of artists. I think I'm just here to really be that glue between the department and the sector itself, and to facilitate the listening and the speaking so that it becomes a hearing and a doing, and that we move forward successfully. With that, I'm hoping you guys are happy with the progress that we've made so far. So we have power back on, which is great. And that's why we have our people online as well, joining us. Um, can we come closer, people at the back, so that, it remains the intimate session? I don't like these pockets of empty chairs. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. So there's a slight change to our program. We will just be switching two sessions around. So it was meant to be a session around the establishment of a representative arts organization, right? The organizers have asked that we begin first with a lighter presentation on the upcoming Mandela Bay Arts Festival. And to do that, we have the CEO of the National Arts Festival, Ms. Monica Newton, who is joined by Unovesutuchai. I've forgotten the designation again now. A lover of the arts for now. Executive producer of the National Arts Festival. Over to you.
Thank you very much. And we're a double act today between Nobasutu and myself. Yep, you can adjust the mic if I can balance the laptop. Goodness. There we go. Okay. Is that better? Yes. Great. Not here. Good to know. We also in Makanda only have 2 active cases at the moment, which is great progress. Yeah. So greetings from Mandela Bay, and thank you very much for stepping in as a sound tech today. We see that there's great capacity in the room. It's our honor and privilege to join the session today, and many thanks to the invitation from the city, MMC in his absence, councillors who are here, of course the broader artistic community of Mandela Bay and other representatives who love and live in the city. Greetings from the National Arts Festival in Makanda. So a little bit about us as the National Arts Festival. What a lot of people do know is the big event that happens in Makanda in June, July every year. But we are a non-profit company, and we are one of the very few full-time festival companies in the country. So we run a whole range of events, some of them based in Makanda, some of them elsewhere. They include the National Arts Festival, they include SciFest, the Schools Festival, the English Olympiad, and a whole range of other activities. And we've been talking to the city for some years about a partnership to create a festival for Mandela Bay, a city-based festival for the city. And it's taken us a while to get to this format, and in essence, this is our first. So we're trying things out for the first time, and very importantly, getting to know the artistic community of Mandela Bay for the first time. But the fantastic thing is, Nobasutu is based in the city, lives in the city, knows the city, and so there's a very, very strong advocate for the interests of the city on the National Arts Festival team. So we're essentially implementing a brand new multidisciplinary arts festival. And it's wonderful to see in the room that we have poets, we have fashion designers, we have arts activists who are also creating knitted items as we sit. And it's an extraordinary group of people, and the Mandela Bay Arts Festival aims to be a platform for all art forms. For music, performing arts, dance, poetry, comedy, craft, visual arts, and design. And we are also wanting to create workshops for artists, workshops for members of the public, and of course, very critically, workshops for school children, because that's where our audiences are coming from. And I think it's been pointed out today in the discussions about Mendi Center, how important it is for us to grow our own wood, to really make sure that we are creating not only the artists for the future, but also the audiences for the future. One of the things that the city has been most concerned about is the footprint. This is not a CBD festival. This is one festival that will happen in multiple venues across the city. Now, because we are programming a multidisciplinary festival, it will mean that there will be a facility such as Mendi, for example, where there are multiple acts programmed, but we will be as far as possible in all districts, working in township areas, in the CBD, because that's what the city believes is necessary, is for the Mandela Bay Arts Festival to touch the lives of all residents of the very, very large footprint of Mandela Bay. What that means for us as a festival team, obviously, is that we're going to be working in multiple venues across multiple sites. And for those of you who know the National Arts Festival, that's kind of what we do, but in a much smaller catchment area, which is Makanda, where in many cases, there's a 5-minute driving distance between locations, whereas here, the driving distance between New Brighton and the other parts of the city is quite substantial. So as we design our schedule, as we design our program, those are the kinds of things that we're going to need to think about. And of course, the information that you guys are going to help us use to make sure that we have a successful festival. I'm hoping I've changed the slide. So in essence, how it works is that we're going to be constituting an artistic committee. And with the agreement of the city, it will be comprised of representatives from organized formations that the city has been working with. Because there is an absolute sense that what we have to do is to create an aesthetic committee, which Nobasutu and her colleague Rusera Sithol, artistic director of the National Arts Festival, will be part of, so that there is an accountable decision-making system about content on the program. The city has indicated that it will not be part of the structure. We have a festival management committee, which is a much larger structure that deals with the governance of the festival itself. So by about the end of March, we'll be reaching out to those representative organizations to get nominations. But fundamentally, to avoid a conflict of interest, we are asking that those representatives do not submit applications onto the program and are not part of productions. Because obviously, it's the system that's going to be making decisions about who's on the program. And right from the start, I don't make decisions about the program. I row the boat, Nobasutu and Rusera and the artistic college shoot the ducks. It's not my job. So please don't phone me and ask if you want to be on the program. I don't know. That's not my job. My job is to row the boat. Okay. So the core production costs, artists' fees, costumes, et cetera, are things that you can apply for. And in quite a complex and difficult process, we feel like we've had to set a threshold because we have a limited budget. This is a new festival. The city has very generously supported it, but we don't have a never-ending budget. So we wanted to signal that the budget threshold is 35,000, which admittedly is quite low. But what that is us informing the community that there's no point in submitting a 250,000 Rand proposal to us. We just don't have the resources to consider it. And obviously, because it's multidisciplinary, a single comedian is going to have a much smaller budget than a two-hand play, for example. And a poet is going to have a much smaller budget than a jazz quartet. That's in the nature of things. But fundamentally, as the festival, we will cover the core technical costs, sound engineers, venues, and those kinds of things. Obviously, if there's very, very specialized equipment or staging that's necessary for a particular production, we're going to have to talk about that. But I think the most fundamental thing is that what the National Arts Festival brings to the table is a professional production team that will be working with the venues to effectively give you the best possible venue for your production, supported by the best possible sound and technical production, which I think we would all agree is probably one of the most important things for audience. There's nothing worse than paying for a ticket and then sitting and listening to a great jazz band in an awful venue that you actually can't hear. So the ticket revenue is really where we need the partnership with the artistic community to come in, because the ticket split is favorable to artists. It's an 80-20 split, with 80% of ticket revenue going to artists, 20% to the festival, but basically that's to cover front of house and box office costs. So we're going to need to work with you who are on the program to drive paying audiences into our venues, because that's for the benefit of the festival, but critically for the benefit of artists as well. So we're asking for a bit of skin in the game, a bit of investment from everybody to use your social media channels, your audiences, the people that you know, your family, friends, church community, to really come and support. Because we're very clear that we do believe that there needs to be ticket revenue. People need to pay to see professional productions. And we need to develop that culture in Nelson Mandela Bay if we're going to succeed as professional artists at all. But we are also committed to making sure that ticket prices are favorable. Nobody has come out of COVID, with the exception of the CEO of Zoom, with lots of money, right? So we're very aware that we're going to have to pitch ticket prices in such a way that it's favorable. Also, we'll be approaching schools and school groups to make sure that we actually do get good numbers, but equally at reduced costs. So some of the important stuff. The application is open at the moment. Online, you can access it at artists.mbuff.co.za. Applications close at midnight on the 8th of April. Now, we've got copies of the application form here with us because, again, the city has asked us, because not everybody has internet access, to actually make a paper-based application form as well. And that will be available at the department's offices and at key centers around the city, such as Mendi Center, the Metropolitan Art Museum. But critically, and I think our artistic team put it so well, the form is an important way for us to get to know you. We're not asking the question just because we want to make your lives difficult. We don't have an opportunity to speak to every artist about every production. So the form is designed to get as much information about you, your intentions, your objectives, your costs as possible, so that we can start the conversation with you about how we're going to best present your work on the stage. There is a webinar available, and many of you might have been part of it. We had it on the 3rd of March, and there was great participation, and thank you so much, Otando, for joining us on that. It is available on the social media site of Mandela Bay. It's available on the National Arts Festival social media platforms as well. And it's just a useful place because Nobasutu guides you through exactly every single function of the online application, or alternatively, if you are looking at a hard copy version, the hard copy of the form. So some dates to keep in mind, and sorry, there's a lot of these, and I see folks are taking photographs, and of course we'll also leave a copy of the presentation with the organizers. But so on the 8th of April, applications close. On the 16th of May, or before, we will let everybody know the outcome of the application. So those who've been successful will be notified, but equally those who perhaps have not been successful this year will also be notified. We'll be contracting over the week of 23 to 31 May. Again, and this is our way of being accountable to the city, to make sure that they are aware what we are doing to make sure that the artistic community is being contracted and is able to do the work in preparation for the festival. Now, we have a very critical deadline on the 10th of June, and this is always a nightmare with the National Arts Festival. We need the marketing information. We need photographs, we need a description, we need the kinds of things that we're going to be using on online and social media platforms to talk about what's coming. Because the reality is we can market a festival, but nobody comes until they know who's on the program. So those are some of the fundamental things that we're going to need you to work with us on. Between the 18th and 22nd of July, we'll be processing the first tranche payments, which again, to enable work is 70%. So that's guaranteed. There's no need to negotiate, etc., etc. The first tranche payment will be 70% of the value of the contract. By the 29th of July, we'll have the full festival schedule, how many shows, in what venues, on what day, including the venues being confirmed as well. And we are working with the city at identifying venues. We're very sad that Savoy is not open to us, but obviously, hopefully, fingers crossed, next year there's a better opportunity. Okay, thank you. We'll announce the program on the 26th of August, and ticket sales will open. We're going to be using an online ticket system as far as we can, just for efficiency's sake, and we've developed a system that really works as part of our virtual festivals over the last couple of years, so that's what we're going to be doing. But clearly, in particular spaces that may not be feasible, so we'll be working with the individual venues to make a plan around that. Our festival, 23 September to 1 October. So it's Heritage Day weekend and the weekend after that. It's 9 days. What we are anticipating is audiences very specifically over those 2 weekends. It's the same with the National Arts Festival, and then a lot of the workshop programming, school shows, and those kinds of things during the week. So those week times for us are fundamental, but we also understand that given the nature and rhythms of the city, we may not have huge audiences coming through for shows over those week periods. Just a couple of days after the end of the festival, we'll be processing the final tranche payment, the 30%. And then about 7 days after that, we'll have done a recon of the box office receipts and we'll make those payments to you. So again, these are the dates to which you can hold us accountable, that the city is expecting us to meet. And this is how essentially we will be running the festival. Now, some of the key information, there are sites available. So we have a website, we have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter page, and we have an Instagram page. And of course, one of the most important things is please follow us. Join us on those platforms because we need the numbers. We need you to be interested and engaging with us because, again, that gives us good media coverage, it gives us good feedback. And as we begin to look to the city of Mandela Bay, and for their audiences to come and join us, we need to make sure that the social media pages are as robust as possible. One of the things I did mean to mention that I forgot, but it came up in our session, if you have submitted an application for the National Arts Festival, that's absolutely fine. This is a completely different festival, and we do still encourage you, if you have a fringe act or if you'd like to be at the Village Green, please go ahead and submit those applications. These festivals are being run completely separately by the National Arts Festival as an organization. The two events are separate. And obviously, if a show is in Mandela Bay and it does well, and you feel that there's an opportunity for it to come through to Makanda, that's definitely a discussion that we can have too. So that's my story. And now it's over to you guys to ask questions. And my partner will join me up on stage and we can talk a bit more about what we're planning and obviously answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much. Okay, no. Go for it. Oh, okay. All right.
This sounds like music in my ears. All what I can say, thank you very much. This is long overdue for tourism, for artists, and for everything. This to me is like a revival. So I thank you. It's not a question, but it's just a comment to say thank you.
Thank you very much. And of course, many thanks to the city who are supporting the initiative. So thank you very much.
Thank you once again as well. I'd also like to welcome this. This is great. And I'm glad that it represents like most of the sectors, but I have to speak in behalf of my sector. I didn't see like film in the thing. So yeah, I just wanted to ask if is there a specific reason that is it not there? Thank
A
you.
typing oversight. We are all human, and me more than most. My apologies for that. We are inviting film applications.
Sorry,
Sincerest
come again.
apologies.
There was noise.
We are absolutely inviting film applications. It was an oversight on my part. I'm so sorry. You will actually see it in the online form. It's a drop-down menu. I promise you it's there.
Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Simpiwe. Thank you for the presentation. I also must say that I did listen on the web, on the blah, 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 Zoom. I don't know, Zoom meeting. So At that time, I had a concern about this thing because, look, I'm from the heritage sector, and I didn't see the featuring there. And and then I could see that is the festival is starting on September, which is the Heritage Month. And then I'm like looking to myself, what will show that this is happening Heritage Month, and then how can the festival be used to showcase the Nelson Mandela Bay heritage? That's number one. But again, I can see it's growing actually, that is heritage is neglected. You know, I saw even on the awards that the Nelson Mandela Bay Complex is running, that is with all the category of winning, heritage is not mentioned there. And I saw also the other one of the ECPEC board. So it's dying. I'm saying that it's dying because it's there. And also when it was there, it was fighted for. So the National Arts Festival, I remember I did work just twice, 2018 and 2019. But I had to fight for that work. But thanks for Nikki, for example, did that. And then you could look at those books, we did it. So I'm like wondering myself that when you read all those things, I'm like, how could that be fitted in? And as I'm sitting to this chair, I'm like, I wouldn't like to go to that fight again. So I'm thinking, so in a way, I'm trying to think, for example, how open are you from the proposals per se, or or just to see that is all the sectors are there. I think that that would be the approach, but it was just important for me just to give you a little bit layout. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think that's a profound question, and Nobusutu is well placed to respond. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Don't you show Tim? Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Msizi, for that question. I think our approach as a National Arts Festival when it comes to heritage is that we are a multidisciplinary arts festival. And heritage is that which makes us what we are. Therefore, for one to highlight a heritage and put it aside as though it's something that lives in an island, because a heritage can be incorporated into a film. Heritage can be incorporated into food. Heritage is comedy. Heritage can be drama. So I like your question because it means if you see yourself and you've got a project that you see that is missing in the picture of the Mandela Bay Arts Festival, which is heritage based, then you need to submit that proposal. But I do not feel, and I strongly feel about this, we need not put heritage as though it is something that lives on its own, because if we are going to do that, it means there needs to be a time where we accept productions on the basis of the fact that they are talking about heritage, not on their artistry, not on anything, but because they are talking about heritage. And yet heritage is not something that we should always be putting aside. It is that which we are. So I think that is the first reason. And I don't see a reason. I think the proposal that you speak of, it had issues of a dance. It has, or what you had spoken to the National Arts Festival before about it, it had issues of a dance, it had theater, it had food, it had music. But then the umbrella board, was heritage. But it still forms within the genres that, or the disciplines that we have put there, but it's just that your focus in terms of your topic, what you would be dealing with, it is heritage. So I don't think we have necessarily left it out, but we need our practitioners to see that which they can provide within the framework of what we have in front of you.
Or comedy session, or a dance session, that they put those things clear. And then what they also put now, which made me very happy, was a heritage section. So I will advise you, maybe instead of to have a dialogue with me, You can just go and look on the book, on that magazine book for the 2019, and you see, just take Simpure program out before I can answer. Just look the other contents that are there under heritage. See what's happening. See also what took place in 2019. Then it will help you. All I need, just as you have put other sectors like your dance, they are there. Film, they are there. So you need to do that back, and put that thing there. And don't judge anything based on me. I'm just helping a little bit now because I'm going to sit down here and again answer you what did I do, blah blah blah. Because it was there. So I just want to help you for that. Thank you very much.
I think on those bases, okay, Mr. MCs, because now I also have something to say. Uyabona, so izawuphela iba dialogue. All I can say is that at this point, applications are open. And fortunately, application yethu is online. So any amendments that need to be made to it are neither here nor there, they can be made. But I think the most crucial and most important thing about what we are speaking about is us pronouncing here. Whilst millions or thousands of people are watching and whilst practitioners are here to say there's nothing that closes off a heritage. And I so wish that that could be the word that is spread more than an additional name saying a heritage, because I think that is very important. So nam ke avoid the dialogue, Mr. Msizi, to say noted. And ndiphinde nam kodwa ke ndibuyise ndithi gaske kube kanti what we have said is also noted, yabo, so that ibe reciprocal lento. Yes, Lele. Ngubhutwela xolo Lele, ngubhutwela on the mic.
Oh, okay. Enkosi Dade.
Nkosi Dade.
Ndifuna ubuza man, is the festival going to be inclusive national artists? If that is going to be, how many are they going to be in each venue maybe? And are the local artists going to be curtain raisers? Or are they going to be the main features? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Budwela, for that. In the webinar that we did, we had explained who this festival is for. And we were bold and proud to say this festival is for artists that reside in the Nelson Mandela Bay. That's the first one. The second one, this festival, it is for artists that reside in the Greater Eastern Cape. That is the second issue. And then the third one, this festival is for artists who might be in Johannesburg, but they've got a link to Mandela Bay. If I could make an example of that, I am Nobe Sutu, I'm a theater practitioner. I've left in Nelson Mandela Bay, but I've got a play that I want to do. All my actors are actually in Nelson Mandela Bay. It's only my body that is in Johannesburg. Therefore, there is a link between myself and in Nelson Mandela Bay. So those are the three spheres that we want to cover. And then the issue of curtain raisers. I think with this festival, the reason why we do not have a main and a fringe is because it is a festival. Everyone is as important. And in terms of how artists view themselves bona, next to the so-called stars, I don't think it's something that we can help. Because mhlambu nobe sithi uzawuperforma ngoku, and then after me, maybe kuzawuza uJet Novuka okanye kuzawuza uDr. John Kani. If I feel bamna, he's a star and I'm not, and then I don't think it's something that the festival can really assist with. But if you look at the National Arts Festival and how it normally does, how it normally is produced, you've got your own slot. You've got your own slot. If you are commissioned, you will be asked to prepare in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, or on the basis of what you have submitted. And then when we market you, we don't market it as it's just a music show. We say Upudwela is playing so that's how we market. That's how we market a festival. We don't. It's only when we do is like when we say Divas concert, then there we would have maybe 3 artists. as the females. Then we market that as a diva concert and not necessarily as a Nobesutu concert. But other than that, every artist in a platform yayo and every artist sinika imbeko that it deserves, and there is no division between akho nto ya curtain raisers apha nantoni. Wonke artists uzawuperforma ngohlobo funeka iperforme ngalo. Yeah.
Thank you. We are also taking questions from the WhatsApp group here, Bay Creatives Collective. And I'm just going, if I'm raising hands too much, it's because I'm asking questions from individuals. This question was from Ubantu in the group, who's saying, how will the craft exhibition be structured? Will there be something that resembles a village green where all crafters are based? Or can crafters submit their private works and get paid for showcasing their works? Perhaps they can apply to exhibit at a separate venue or whatnot. That's the question.
Okay, thank you, Lele, for that question. Okokuqala, crafters, they are going to be housed in a manner that a village green is. That is the first one. However, again, ndizawuphinda ndibuyele kwela hlobo endiphendule ngalo uMr. Msizi. When one submits an application or a proposal, and it looks as though a proposal, you are supposed to be in a certain venue because you've got something that is more than the craft, mhlambe une products around that is beyond the craft itself. So therefore you deserve your own thing because it's almost like a show. Le uzawuyenza. And then I think we are talking something differently. But normally, with festivals, sisebenza ngola hlobo le village green, all our crafters are going to be housed in one space because we want to drive traffic to that particular space. Asifuni craft to ibe scattered unless there is a particular reason why Ulisa wants to be in a certain venue. And I think, as I said, ku webinar, that this is going to be a conversation between the National Arts Festival and artists. Yes, we are going to provide the framework, but more than anything, I think, Tina, we want to help you see yourself in the festival and you see your role in the festival more than us just bringing a festival to you. So if lele kukho proposal enjalo, umzekelo ethi mna andifuni nje ubonisa impahla zam, but whilst ndibonisa impahla zam, I'm also teaching abantu ukwenza necklace ecaleni. I'm also having conversations with omama abadala about certain garments and what they mean. I'm also having umuntu odlala guitar as babengena. That is a production. So to put that a village green, I don't think it would do justice to it. So it proposes as acceptor as per zingena kuti, but a framework yona ye craft kukuba sizakwamkela a village green. Yes, Lele.
National Arts Festival. So is it okay to put it across still? Then maybe somebody, like,
Yes,
it's not even a question really. Okay, sure. So just from the onset, I totally welcome the festival and it's the National Arts Festival. However, I just have one suggestion, maybe for future, I don't know how long the contract is or whatever the case may be. It would be lovely to include some people or some of the companies that within the Bay work towards such ideals as well. So that, I don't know if there's ever such a thing as a company interning, but in the interest of development of creative entrepreneurs, it would be lovely to almost that thing, if SMEs where there's 30%, yeah, la talk. Okay, there's only you in the room. So, so it's just a suggestion that it would be lovely for us as the creative entrepreneurs that are based here to get that experience somehow. A creative way of creating. When I walk away with the experience of having been part of organizing, because I want to believe that it won't be a perpetual lifelong contract. At some point, it must run, I don't know, within Nelson Mandela Bay, because when such discussions were had in the beginning to have a festival before it was thought to give it to the NAF, it was about giving the festival to the artists of the Bay. So I would love to see that happen somehow, that we're promoting the growth and development of young creative entrepreneurs to one day be in the same level as NAF or good enough to run a festival themselves.
Thank you, Lele. Andiyazi ke noba uthando uzawuphendula na. Ulala usigxotha ngosingekaqali inkosi yami. Sasigxothwa ngoku. Ayinamsebenzi ke. No. I think Tina as the National Arts Festival, we totally welcome that, as you have seen, okanye as you have heard from Monica in terms of the different properties that we run. More than anything, nathi asifuni ukuba yila island in the industry, okanye yila giant in the industry that does everything by itself. But we welcome being invited. We welcome being invited by Nelson Mandela Bay. And I think Nati, the reason why we are doing the consultations and the reason why at the back of our heads, we understand there is no way we could do this festival without abantu balapa. Umzekelo, from your salespeople to abantu abazawurana venues, to the technicians and all of that, it will be abantu balape by. But I understand Lele and Pendulent because now I'm talking about people who will be running the festival on the ground, where now you are talking about people who could potentially implement a festival, which I think sithetha nefanda neboss yethu, potential boss mhlambi yakho Lele. Nale boss yam bana, we are saying sicela bayicinge loo nto into bana singasebenzisana njani. Nathina, we are not opposed to that. Yes, and sizayirana Lele wethu as until ke side silento. Not ukugxothwa mani uthando qha kuthiwe masinikezele kwabanye abantu, ukugxothwa igama elibi kuthiwa masinikezele kwabanye abantu, uyaqonda. But I think we will always be taking that into account, Lele, uba ibalulekile loo nto leyo, to work with companies and to work with individuals ezilapha kwi-Nelson Mandela Bay, which I think on the individual level sesiyiqalile. But mhlambi singabethakala nje kweli cala le company as event organizers okanye i-festival organizers into yoba singalinka njani at this point. Yeah, ndingayiphendula ngolo hlobo mna. Andiyazi noba mhlambi uthando nayo inkcazelo ethe vetshe kunale mna ndiyise ndiyibalulile. Ubhutwela unombuzo?
Kaloku ndim ixhego nobe suthi kukho i-entertainment companies ezincinci ezikhoyo apha by ezifufusayo esincomayo ukuthi ziyayenza into yoba kubekho into eqhubekayo apha eBhayi, kukho iivenyu ezininzi abanazo kakuzo. I wonder if bengenakho mhlambi ukuba nento mhlambi igap abayifumanayo bangene mhlambi nabe, whichever way ibinokwenzeka ngayo loo nto. It's just yeah.
Okay, enkosi Bhutwela, bendingafuni ke side sifikelele kule nto of mentioning abantu okanye izinto esizenzayo ngoku. But again, I think ndiyanyanzeleka ngoku into yobana okokuqala Bhutwela, when we're looking into venues, we're not only looking at venues ezirunwa ngumasipala okanye nguDesirect, we're also looking into independent venues that are run by independent event organizers. So I think that is the first plug point esisebenzisana nabo, and xa sisebenzisana nabo asizofika sizo-impose, sizawufika sizo-enhance what they do. So kukho iprogram eyenzekayo on Sundays apha eBhayi, yenzeka mhlambi kwaZakhele, thina sithatha ii-artists ezizawubhatalwa yi-festival ziyodlala phaa. And then if we see that mhlambi le venue it lacks izitulo, le venue it lacks sound, le venue in terms of safety, there are issues efuneka zijongiwe, that is what we do. But si-enhance la event organizer nala independent venue venue owner. So already I think sesiziqalile ezo conversations, but kunzima to solidify them until we close a call. Because again, what you don't want to have too many venues and yet awunamsebenzi omninzi to put there, because you don't want those venues to stand empty. So we are having as conversations with the venue owners that are not necessarily municipal venues or DESREC venues, but independent venues run by independent event organizers. Also, nabantu kudala siqwalasela, there are people, as you are saying, there are people who are running events which are very successful. Nathi as the festival, sifuna uzi-aligna naba bantu, because for us to start into entsha, we are going to fail. We are going to fail dismally. So siyabona uba zikhona ii-events ezenzekayo that are successful, and we are slowly leaning towards those people to say, laa ngxolo niyenzayo for eza events, gaske niyisondeze ize apha kule festival. Akho nto intsha bhutwela ezawuqalwa. Akho nto intsha izawuqalwa, sizawusebenza naba bantu wena uthi uyababona as event organizers, because I think nathi we do have our ear on the ground. Siyayibona abantu, siyababona abantu abasebenzayo, siyababona abantu abasuccessful, siyababona nabazamayo, but ikhona lento ishotayo, where we feel into yobana okay uyazenza ii-events oko, but ii-events zakhe azigcwali mhlawumbi noba ingxaki iphi. So sibajongile abantu abanjalo ke bhutwela, because we feel as i-National Arts Festival asizokwazi ukufikelela kwindawo yonke and asizokwazi uba nolwazi lonke lwe-Nelson Mandela Bay without us actually speaking to abantu who are already doing what we are going to do thina in 9 days. Bona bayenza every day. So ezo conversations ke zikhona ke bhutwela.
Creator of the Nationale Kunstefees very, very generously calls the National Arts Festival the mother of all festivals, because Kaka and Ka was incubated as a fringe act at the National Arts Festival. So I think Nobusutu's point about creating a platform that supports activities, whether it's of individual artists or collectives or producers or promoters who bring together a proposal, that's absolutely fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again. Monica, when you present, you spoke about establishing artistic committee. And I assume that the artistic committee probably will also be responsible for selection of work, because you did mention that is anyone who intends to perform or to be part must not be part of the committee. But now what was not clear, for example, was how the committee will be composed, or how are you going to reach out for that committee? Because I'm asking this thing because I also know in the National Arts Festival, I was told actually that is whatever committee is there for festival, the management has not so much involved there about the work. They are more dealing about the organizing. It's very critical now. See, that is because this committee seems to be, it should be a fair committee. So I'm sitting down here, I'm thinking now that is from you, how do you think that committee will be? Yeah, because we don't have an artist. Yeah.
So we've worked extensively with the city on a list of organizations who have a footprint, who have a representative organization, and there is a heritage component to that. And we will be approaching these organizations to come to us with nominees. And obviously there are very specific criteria, availability, artistic sentiment, all of that kind of thing. But fundamentally, our creative team is a very important part of that, because they understand the parameters of the festival, they understand the budgets of the festival, and equally they bring their own experience and incredible artistic sentiment to bear. But the role of that committee, as you've pointed out, is fundamental, because that's the key programming committee. Scheduling happens somewhere else. Programming happens in that committee. And so its credibility is incredibly important. It's independence to a degree, which is why the city has stepped back from that committee, it's not on that committee, is absolutely fundamental. The reality is it's going to make decisions. And some of those decisions are going to be popular and some of those decisions are going to be unpopular. It's the nature of decision making. And the reality is I've been to festivals around the world and I've seen some great work and I've seen some truly awful work. But that's just my perception. Somebody else sitting next to me might have thoroughly enjoyed the work. So that's the reality. But the credibility of that committee, the extent to which we as the festival team support that decision making is absolute, and we do that with our own committee. Obviously, the key thing is that that committee, through the role of our executive producer Nobasutu and Rusera Sithal, understands what we're trying to intend. They are the holders, they are the custodians of the ethos and the intentions of the festival. So if the artistic committee suddenly decides that we absolutely need Shoma Josie on the program, it's our team's job to go, okay, why? She's wonderful, there's no doubt. She has international profile, she's no doubt. But what is her relationship to the city of Nelson Mandela Bay? Those are the kinds of things that we're expecting our team to involve in those discussions. And the work is intense. The discussions are sometimes very heated. It's not an easy process. But fundamentally, we will try and involve as many organized formations and representatives as possible. But I think, and Nobasutu made a very good point earlier in the day, the committees can't be too large. A committee of 30 people is not going to make a decision. So we also need to keep it to a reasonable size of people who may not necessarily be fully representative, but understand and know and have networks. Yeah? So it's a balance, and we don't always get it right. And I think that's the thing that we should realize, is that we're doing this for the first time with wonderful intentions, but we're going to make mistakes. And hopefully we are open as a team that you can communicate those mistakes to us. And obviously if we can fix them, we will. But sometimes we just have to go, okay, lessons learned. That was a disaster. We're not going to do that again. And then we move on. Yeah. So we hear you though. The credibility of that artistic committee is fundamental to how the program is received artistically, but also how it is designed for audiences. Thank you.
If I can just add in what Monica has said about the artistic committee, the reason why there is, what we've noticed is that sometimes why artistic committee members of different festivals or grants or whatever, why they also want to put in an application is because ayibikho financial incentive for bona. So you are still taking umntu artist uthi maka adjudicate i-proposals eziyi-500 but makangafaki, and yet yena kukho financial incentive apha izawuba khona i-financial incentive. Hence we are saying at least noko be okay with ubuya umva so that abanye abantu bazokwazi ukuxhamla. Eyesibini into which is very crucial, as we are going to send out as invitations and try to get abantu abazawunominatwa to serve apha kule committee, yes, there is the artistic integrity enidekayo or artistic knowledge enidekayo, but there's also another layer which ndiyacela bethuna negaske siyincokolele le nto senje uncokole no-self ungancokoli nathi, uncokole no-self and do wena introspection. Kukho i-issue apha ye-administration that is needed. You are going to get 500 or more applications. Ekufuneka uhleli phansi ujonge ngubani lona, wapi, unangaphi, thini experience yakhe, thini le show yakhe, thini budget yakhe, ingakanani le show, senze into ezingaphi, ininzi into funeka utsathena ngeyi-1 application. Now sithetha ngezi-500, and that is the reality of this artistic committee and the job that they are going to do. Because I think ngoku mhlambi the name i-artistic committee can be glamorous, but xa sesithetha ke ngomsebenzi, when we bring a box to you or piles okanye i-files online, sisithi please adjudicate, and each and every application you need to score, you need to have notes. You can't just look at it, uthi nanku 1, 2, 3, yabona? You need to actually have notes for all 500 of them. So that is another layer which I felt namhlanje I need to put across, because ingangabi kanti mhlambi abingekho clear throughout into yobana le artistic committee iza kwenza ntoni na. Yeah, of course. Thank you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, cool. All right. So moving along, thank you again to Monica and to Nobesutu for a great session. in terms of time, we're left with about an hour to conclude the following session. And then we also had hoped that the last 30 minutes between 4 and 4:30, we would have a jam session at the back here. There's a number of instruments that are available, but so artists can already start thinking if they want to come through and play guitar, drums, and all of that, and sing, and poetry. And Nazum heritage was our tini, but if we can include you, that's fine. Oh, lovely stuff. So the I withdraw. Uh, so the following session really is what I feel is quite important for all arts work, even at a national level. A lot of people will say, with a lot of what's happening, even with COVID and all of that, you need to have an artistic community that is organized and capable of lobbying with a collective voice. You can never do something as one person in fashion, in film. You can be a pioneer and inspire people, but to create substantial change that is long lasting, you need to be able to organize people and keep them going with you, not just to meetings, but ensuring that you develop proper programs for the sector. So this session is going to be discussing that, reviewing the Nelson Mandela Bay's experience with arts organizations and representative bodies, looking at some of the bodies that exist today, whether they are connected to a federation or independent, and looking at the challenges they faced in organizing artists, and seeing, how feasible or how quickly or how strategically can we move forward towards some collective body that can move the arts agenda forward. And so I'll call upon Utando to facilitate that session. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say, I think I'm quite encouraged by the level of discussion and engagement that we are having today. And I hope that we take it into tomorrow as well. And for me, it signals that, we are ready to do the work of rebuilding the arts and culture landscape of the city. I think for mine is really a desire to contextualize the position of the city in terms of this this session. I think one of the challenges, of course, that we've experienced as a sector is this us and them between the sector and the city. And this Indaba has gone in a long way to try to sort of bridge that gap and try to bring us closer to together, because ultimately, as us as officials, our role is to create an enabling environment for the development and the stimulation of the local creative economy. And we cannot do that with just by ourselves. We need to do that with the sector. And it becomes critical then that we have a body that is able to articulate and advocate on behalf of the broader sector. As you know, that the sector is quite broad. So it becomes important that we have a touchstone as a city where we say, if we communicate information to this representative body, the information will get to the artists, to all the districts, and everybody will get the information. So for us, it's critical. So for me, I'm not going to talk a lot. I'm going to hand over to a representative, one of the representative bodies. SIFSA is, of course, the organization that national government has mandated to be the federation that all artistic organizations or and formations should affiliate to, and has mandated that as government is the main vehicle in which we should, as a local government, engage with. Um, Having them making representations is not to say, that it's the only organization that is out there. I want to be clear about that. We understand that there's many collectors that are already in the city, but it's to chart a way forward. I think that is really the idea of the session. How can we chart a way forward where we begin to work within the frameworks of government that will assist us to transform this landscape that we are talking about? And I want to encourage everyone to approach the session with that view. Not to say that we know that this is a lot of informations, but how can we then leverage an organization like CIFSA, which assists us in the sense that it's already within our legislative framework? How can we facilitate a process, even if you are not affiliated to CIFSA, but how can you work together to ensure that all the voices of the city are represented in a fundamental way? So I'm not going to talk much, but I'm going to hand over to the General Secretary of the regional structure of CIFSA to take us through the work that they've been doing in trying to bring everybody together under one umbrella.
Artist. Artist. Mandisibulisele molweni. Molo lelethu. Mandisibulisele kuye wonke umuntu okhoyo apha namhlanje. Good afternoon. Goeiemiddag. Kodwa ke ngokusesikweni xa sibulisa sawuqala sikhahlele inkonde zezenkcubeko nezobugcisa ngelithi artist. 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 Andiyo-politician. Umkile u-MMC nezwe lethu. Igama ngutawuya. Ngutawuya wakwaMushayike. Umrewa Sokomukanya Mtumidzi. Utawuya comes from le federation kuthiwa i-Cultural and Creative Industries Federation of South Africa. Baza kuzibuza ke abaninzi ukuba ingaba intoni le Cultural and Creative Industries Federation of South Africa. Kodwa ke sisekhona nesininzi esisele sinayo lo mpendulo leyo. Mandithi ke ndiyabulela kumhlekazi wakwaBhaduza ngokuthi ke asimeme size namhlanje. Now andizoba mde because ndimfutshane nam. One, there are many reasons as to why there is an overarching need for a representative body for the creative sector in Nelson Mandela Bay. And that need is not only in Nelson Mandela Bay, but it's throughout the country and throughout the continent. Now, uzawubona phaa kwesa screen ukuba the purpose of the representative body is one, it's to have an overall coordinating structure, right? And kumatyela amaninzi abasemagunyeni kudala besithi namhlanje kungena uTawuya apha, ngomso kuyongena uAustin, ngomso kuyongena uTatuwela, bonke bezele izinto ezohlukileyo Ngoku ngomsomnye xa kufika omnye asisenanto yena sinokumphosela yona because aba bafike kuqala baze neento ezingathi ziphucukile saqonda ukuba noko yinto esinokwazi ukuzimanyana nayo. So sithi ke ngoku esi structure sizawuncedisa ukuba sithathe into endinokuthi ngamasolotya asemacaleni siwadibanise senze into enye ezawuthethela aba bantu baninzi. Kodwa ke kwa aba bantu baninzi within laa nto inye they will all have a voice. Sithi ke ngoku it is important that a conducive environment for the growth of the cultural and creative industries in Nelson Mandela Bay is created. And with dichotomies within the sector, it's impossible to create that ideal cultural and creative industries. We also said that there's a huge requirement to also have a clear line of communication between the sector and the authority. And we must also kind of cross the lines of us and them between the sector, nabo basemagunyeni. We must all understand that one, we are striving for into a1 sonke, growth leyo of the cultural and creative industries and the development of all of the role players involved. But importantly, it's important that sikweli phulo lokuba se reposition the cultural and creative industries as an economic driver. Kumatyela amaninzi kukubakho abantu abathi hayi man i-arts ayizina mali so asinakuyityalela mali. So naloo nto kufuneka siyixele ukuba bubuxoki babantu abangaziphi ixesha lokuba bazifundise ngale nto siyenzayo. But also important is that xa kutyelwa izinto ngee-artist kufuneka nee-artist zibe involved. Kodwa it's impossible to have ii-artists as over 100,000 eNelson Mandela Bay uthi mazibe khona kwi-meeting eyi-1 eseMendi Arts Center. It's going to be impossible to coordinate loo meeting leyo. Uzawuthi usahlala phantsi aphakame uBramsizi ne-Heritage, uhlale phansi aphakame okuhle no-Arts Education and Training, uthi usahlala phansi aphakame Poetic Soul with poetry and activism. You know, so ingozi. So now sithi ke ngoku that ngezo zizathu ezo nezinye esingazuzibalula ngenxa yexesha kubalulekile ukuba sibe nala representative board. Now sithi ke ngoku eNelson Mandela Bay ayintshanga into yokuba kubekho i-representative board. It's nothing new. Wonke umuntu othi yinto entsha uyaphosisa. So ndizawubalula, but the key representative bodies that existed in Nelson Mandela Bay, and it is without a doubt and not up for discussion or subject to scrutiny, Indaba yokuba by far the Nelson Mandela Bay Arts Council was the most progressive representative body that existed in the history of representative bodies for the creative industry in Nelson Mandela Bay. Kwaye kwenzeka ukuba hayi ke yaqhuba ke iNelson Mandela Bay Arts Council. It secured a lot of victories for the industry. Namhlanje sithetha nge-small grants, sithetha nge-Mandela Bay Arts Festival, kunye nezinye izinto ezininzi esixoxa ngazo namhlanje zizinto neempumelelo that were recorded by Indirect under the capable leadership of Ubudmonde Ngonyama and other leaders within the sector and other artists. So okokuqala, that's very important to note. Now liya lahamba ke ixesha iqhuba iNelson Mandela Bay Arts Council. Kwafikelela ke kwityeli lokuba kusungulwe phaa phezulu le federation kuthiwa nguSIFSA ibe inamba ke Nelson Mandela Bay isaqhubekeka nokusebenza. So kwakho ke into equlungwayo mhlawumbi ndizawubethwa sisiXhosa ingabi ligama ekumele uba ndilisebenzisile ndiyaxolisa. Ningandibethi kakhulu. Ndiyabulela. Kwathethwa ke ngendaba ye-soft landing. Kukho abantu ke abafana noBrathandile Phechwa who can clearly articulate i-soft landing. No Poetic Soul, Obramsizi, Omninawa, baninzi. It's not just a few people. So ithi loo nto ndisoma kule ndawo njengoba kukho aba bantu who are skilled and experienced when it comes to the history of representative bodies in Nelson Mandela Bay, bangancedisa kakhulu ukuba banodibanisa intloko. But yeah, so i-soft landing ke was that process of transition from Inambek to iSIFSA at that time. But manditsho ke ukuba i-soft landing was a rough landing because la process ye-soft landing was not carried through to its logical conclusion. And I am saying that because if it was carried through to its logical conclusion, we would not be here today having this conversation of a representative body. Kuteke kusekho lo rough landing wafika umsinga kamela Xorha wabhuqa kwenzeka loo nto. Now sithe sisajonge leyo zakhona ke ii-organizations that were started as a response to the frustrations of e-creatives in Nelson Mandela Bay that was caused by COVID-19. And ezinye zezo organizations, but one of the key organizations is the Bay Creatives Collective. And I think it was without a doubt that the work that Bay Creatives has done in Nelson Mandela Bay is remarkable. Now, sitsho ke ngokusiqhubekeke sithi now njengoba sisithi we need a representative body and kukho ii-organizations eNelson Mandela Bay that exist, what is the yintoni into esizawuphuma nayo sithi thina siyayicebisa as an organization that is going to play that role of a representative body? Utawuya is the current provincial secretary of the Cultural and Creative Industries Federation of South Africa in the Eastern Cape. Now, sithi ke ngoku sizisa uSIFSA ukuba adlale laa ndima of a representative body. So into esizawuyenza ke ngoku sizawukwazi ukuba one simcacise lo SIFSA ukuba yintoni. Okwesibini sicacise nohambo lwakhe kwi-creative industry ephantsi kwalo masipala uMbaxa kaMthirharha waseMvezo. Ngomnyaka wama-2009, that is 2009, the then president, the Honorable Gezeihlekisa Jacob Nxamalala kaZuma, kulaa mhlaba wakwaZulu, convened i-cabinet, wabiza nee-artists, waza nento ethi njengoba singurhulumente, it is very difficult to connect with the sector. So there seems to be a distance and a gap between those in office and those on the ground, which are the artists. And so there were engagements, series of engagements, and we've got people in Nelson Mandela Bay that formed part of those engagements at national level. And out of those engagements, a progressive solution came out to say perhaps we should establish a federation for the cultural and creative industries in South Africa. Now, the nature of a federation is different from that of an organization. But as we go, I will explain. And that relates to how the industry is structured. Now, USIFSA, as that federation, which enjoys recognition as a representative body from national government and provincial government, is an organization for organizations and sector councils. USIFSA has got a membership as E2, right? But one of those is an indirect membership. And then we have the direct membership. SIFSA's direct membership is that of sector councils and affiliate organizations. But we understand that a number of creatives, in particular in the context of Nelson Mandela Bay, most of them are not organized. They are not part of any organizations. So if you are going to speak of organizations and say, I want to engage organization, what happens to over 70% of the artists that are not organized? So this indirect membership, what it simply entails is that lo mntu uyeza and then uyayisayina le indirect membership. Then the membership of this individual artist is deferred to the sector councils that will assist in organizing those artists that are not organized. Because you don't want a situation where you have got this federation, but class federation, we only have 10 artists. That's not a federation. I mean, that's not a federation. So, Tina, we don't deal with individual artists, but we deal with individual artists in as far as they are organized in sector councils and affiliate organizations. Right. Now, any organization can affiliate. Akutwa, the only organizations that can affiliate are organizations that have got e-leaders that are Tawia's best friends or my man's best friends or the minister's cousins. No. When we speak of the Cultural and Creative Industries Federation of South Africa, we speak of a federation that is free, that is accommodative of all artists, that has a clear geographical spread in terms of art representations. Now, siqhubekeke, umhlawumbi there will be a question where that is asked to say that, but what is the state of this SIFSA in Nelson Mandela Bay in light of the existing organizations? Because you can't, I've learned if you have an idea or you want to make a proposal of something, the chances are highly likely that someone else has done it before. And what sets you apart is your unique selling point in terms of what you are proposing. Now, uSIFSA and Nelson Mandela Bay, remember, kukho la soft landing, ne? Go 2017, that became a rough landing. Ne? And a lot of creatives were saying, hey, but this landing was rough. Now, in 2021, many of us were in organizations. I was the regional secretary of the South African Arts and Culture Youth Forum. We've got Abandu who were in heritage councils, people that were in dance councils, theater councils. And we said, no, man, perhaps what we should do now is to kind of re-establish this federation that is going to take the creative industry of Nelson Mandela Bay to greater heights. Sathi ke ngoku, yeah. Sathi ke ngoku, one, we had those consultations and we had up in Nelson Mandela Bay a provincial task team member, Umama Ucakucaku. I'm sure she's familiar with many people up. And on the 16th of November, we had the regional conference to elect the regional executive committee. And there onwards, it was clear that we have got two assignments, just two, right? The first assignment is to ensure that all of the artists in Nelson Mandela Bay are organized. The second assignment is that you have been given a mandate. Ethi baleka uyoqinisa ubudlelwane nabo basemagunyeni to ensure that i-artist ziyakhula ziyancedakala ziyaxhamla kubuncwane balo masipala uMbhaco. Kwathiwa ke sathunywa ukuba makubekho le mbalelwano sinayo. That would be the proposed industry guide as a result of conference resolutions that we sent to the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality. Siyithumele ke kumatyela amaninzi kuMamugwinza, and we had extensive consultations with the MMC. MMC put us under serious scrutiny to say that zininzi organizations ezifika apha zithi they want to play that role, or they are playing that role as we speak. So what do you think sets you apart? So in the proposed guide, we are glad that some of the items that were included in that proposed industry guide, which is available for everyone to access, zikhona apha namhlanje siyazixoxa. Sithi ke ngoku siqinisa the sector councils, songeza even the affiliate organizations. If we are to play the role of a representative board, sidlale ngokulindelekileyo. Kunyanzelekile ukuba we have a wide reach of artists in Nelson Mandela Bay. And I also want to mention that the Cultural and Creative Industries Federation of South Africa is not the only federation that exists in South Africa for the cultural and creative industries. We've got the South African United Cultural and Creative Industries Federation of South Africa, which is SAUCIF. But there are two aspects that differentiate these two federations. One gains recognition from the National Department of Arts and Culture, and the other one doesn't. And one gains recognition from Indirect, and one doesn't. So in our audit of federations in Nelson Mandela Bay, we did not find a footprint of the second federation. But again, we're saying that if it exists in Nelson Mandela Bay, we're open to conversation and see how we can map a way forward together, because the cultural and creative industries is not a pie, it's not ngayo, you know, but it's city who actually bake the pie. Sisonke. So we don't want a situation where there are going to be organizations and artists that feel left out. So SIFSA is saying that, one, we enjoy that much recognition from these spheres of government. And Silabe Nelson Mandela Bay. And Uprati would always advise and say, you know, national and provincial are just virtual spaces, but where the artists are is in Nelson Mandela Bay. So it is imperative to ensure that in Nelson Mandela Bay, you don't create divisions by opening the affiliation to certain organizations, sector councils as funny members as TEAL. So we're saying that we're open to all organizations in Nelson Mandela Bay to affiliate and we are pushing the establishment of proper sector councils. And how SIFSA is constituted is that we've got 6 office bearers and we've got 9 sector representatives. And so I want to make the call to say that we're open for all organizations to affiliate, and we're open for all individual artists to get an indirect membership where we will be able to guide them through our sector councils. And andizoba mde tata, bentendiza kuba mfutshane, kodwa mandivale ngombulelo othi sizawukhahlela ke abantu abakhulu, the artist, ngelithi artist, artist, artist. Enkosi. Ikabe nzima. Okay. Sorry, program director, can we then have an agreement in terms of the round of questions so that we don't waste time? So that ngabikho mivuka and irhawuzelela. Sure.
Wait for it. You'll hold it. Okay, sure. Hey, goes on, listen to me. Jesus. An intimidator. Thank you, Daoya, for that presentation. It comes at a perfect time, where as eBay Creators Collective, we were wanting to send an invitation so that we want to send this invitation to both SIFSA and SAUSIF so that we are clear ukuthi thina sifuna affiliate happy. We are sizo understand as well, because as you're mentioning, Bay Creatives Collective was born in 2020, am I correct? However, we were not aware of as the proceedings all the way up to the 16th of November to where we are today, and just even on an individual artistic basis, I'm only hearing now Kuti Kubano chairperson, and I don't know what processes were followed for that. So in terms of communication, gaskes rectifiers, and especially when we do know each other and what corners we're in. Bay Creatives is looking to affiliate with the Federation because we are also very much of the view that whatever our organization is feeling, we cannot go presenter. We need to know what other artists are thinking. If it's SIFSA, then SIFSA moves forward. So ndiyafuna si ayine out landa uqala wekhwama ginqi okunga understand, because andifuna uphosisa, the last we heard of SIFSA mna phofu kwakufike uthona uGruge ndandistarstruck. No, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the real truth. Then ke ngoku ndazodibana with the current president uJoy kuba ndiye kwenye conference eGauteng. However, I don't know things in between. Ndiva from individuals within SIFSA sekusithiwa sicela ufake igama lakho kwinto ethile, and I've always refused for one simple reason that andikwazi vele kufowunwe kuthiwe sifuna ukwenza i-regional conference, can we submit your name? You are submitting my name kwinto eti federation, and my understanding of federation is that bekumele uba ndi-mandate okanye ndi-delegate i-organization ilise phambili igama lam. So for that reason, I could not identify with the functioning of i-SIFSA. Xa kuzawuvele kufowuni i-individual ithi kukho i-women's ntonto ngoku singabhala igama lakho, ndiyifumanise ngathi ayikho fair uba mna ndizawuhamba ndiyoxoxa into ze-women in arts and ndibe ndindim ndibizwe yi-individual kusubmithwe igama lam, uyabo? So ngaske xolo bhuti, ndizawuyeka uyandisebezela sana. Hey, aniyazi Christian kuyo. So benifuna nje uphakamisa loo nto that masihlaleni phansi, masincokoleni, reach out to organizations or tell us how organizations can reach you guys. Singavele sive kusithiwa nanku chairperson nankubani, because perhaps nathi besibawula uba yipart yaloo ndibano. Baleka bhuti.
Open la after.
Yes.
Yeah, enkosi mhlala ngaphambili. Mna ndiphakamela nje like ubulela i-presentation lena and in update, yabona. And also ndiphakamela just at least to witness, because previously I was the part of the Arts Council and I was part of the Arts Council in the highest level. So a transformation of art and the soft learning and how it came here, I understand it very well. So, institutionally, even at municipality level, they are aware of that process. And we made it a point as an Arts Council that coming of SIFSA was introduced and was welcomed actually by the municipality, because I remember very well that the municipality required from us something in writing to tell them about how our last AGM went, which was not successful, which it dissolved actually, and then how SIFSA is coming in to take over. But what I've experienced now in this, which I think even in going forward, it may assist. You see, always artists have a challenge to organize things on their own. I don't know what happened. There is a reason for always for municipality or for any government structure to be involved. By the way, for the success of the establishment of the Arts Council formally in 2013, it was a unified program by the task team at that time together with the municipality. Even the very first conference that we ran, the Indabas that we ran, the elective conference we ran, we did it with the municipality. And the success of the projects that you mentioned, we did it with the municipality. So in this case, I feel that is the best way for SIFSA to go forward. I'm very glad even the approach from the previous speaker about the issue now, how he's proposing the way forward. Is that ukuthi ngaske umaspalat helps the organization. Fortunately, I'm not in that leadership anymore, so there is no interest that I'm standing for. But I am urging that the municipality to work with the SIFSA and reach these other organizations or the bigger body of arts if they feel they are not reached. But thank you very much for and I support it. I would really like to see Nokamukuti SIFSA is going forward and helping us as an artist. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Artist.
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 More, please, more artist. Artist.
Artist.
Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting time, I feel there's one or two things I would like to ask. Let me introduce myself. Not Igama, but my background. I know nothing of these formations that are being talked about. The last time I was in this old beer hall was around about 96 when we were talking with local artists with the leadership of the Escape Cultural Union. I'm talking of about Badala. Artist.
Artist.
Then I broke away, but my interest now, Kukuti, you talked of sector leadership. I thought you'd ask them to, stand up and show their faces because I belong to one sector, maybe two or three, I don't know. But my interest is in performing art. So if they are around, would be glad to see those faces. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Oh, artist.
Artist. One, kukho isandla esingasemva tata. Okay, second round. Okay. Okokuqala mandinikhahlele. Artist. Ndiyabulela. You know, xa abantu becebisa unyanzelekile ukuba ingcebiso uzithathe uzifake epokothweni. Yi-investment leyo ozawukwakha isizwe ngayo. Mandiqale from ispeaker sokuqala. Mandithi ndiyabulela nge-contribution yakho. It's very, very key and very, very important. And indawo yokuqala where you've indicated that you were not aware of as processes and that we should rectify the errors in communication and iron out misunderstandings. Those are critical submissions because we don't want to have communication errors when we seek to improve the communication between uhulumende nesect. So we don't want to have those errors. So that contribution is very fundamental to today's Indaba. And furthermore, I also noted that you've indicated that eBay Creatives wants to affiliate but has not made a decision in terms of which organization to affiliate with. Mnake ndizawuthethela uSIFSA and not SAWSIF. SIFSA is open for affiliation with all of the organizations in Nelson Mandela Bay. Now, in terms of the membership of SIFSA, the membership of SIFSA is two-pronged. There's direct membership and there's indirect membership. SIFSA as a federation accepts a membership from sector councils and affiliates with organizations. That is direct membership. Indirect membership deals with individuals, where xa ifika lo individual is referred to the relevant sector council. That is in line with the first speaker. So thank you very much for that contribution. Nogo iyatyeba le indaba. In terms of the second speaker, I always appreciate when this is a presentation and someone from Florin stands and says, I was part of some of the things that you mentioned in your presentation. In the context of Upramsizi, it's the Nambag, and it gives us clarity in relation to Nambag. So, siyabulela kakhulu man, Pramsizi. Yabona I'm young. I learn as much as I can. So kukwabantu that I respect, and Upramsizi happens to be one of those people. Tata, mandukukhahlele. Artist. 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 You know, for anyone who's into policy development in the cultural and creative industries, in particular in the Eastern Cape, the Eastern Cape Cultural Union always resurfaces. Ndifuna ukubuya nayo. Kukho abathi iintshukumo zokuqala ifederation in Southern Africa began in 2009. Singacho sithi leyo is true in the context of SIFSA. But there were attempts from 94 to begin a federation in South Africa for the creative industry. Utata says 92. And that's true. Ayondo incha. It's not that that sacred fruit. No, it's not. It's something that has been there. But the fruits of the hard labor to start a federation were enjoyed in 2009 when USIFSA was formed. It opens a debate, but we're more than willing to have that debate, but in a different setting than this one. So, in terms of the sectors, Dada, how the conference was structured was that we had e-commissions. When we speak of the development of the cultural and creative industries, we want to be able to quantify it and qualitate it. So we had e-commissions. E-commissions dealt with the question of geographical spread in Nelson Mandela Bay. We have got 6 clusters. We needed to ensure that we have got e-organizations from all of those clusters. And we've got sector councils for the context of the sectors. And then we were further divided into e-sectors, the 9 sectors of the creative industry. Apo abantu from e-sectors decided that, i-representation ingasincedisa ukuba le conference inostructurishwa in this way okanye ithathe le direction. Sithi ke ngoku, be that as it may, kubekho i-structure. Ukuba kukho more organizations that affiliate, we are always open to the question of saying that I must in light of these organizations that have come, masitin so, and we are guided by a constitution. So a constitution here too is clear in terms of the processes to follow. As organizations is affiliated and as sector councils, they push a certain motion. So ndizawuncokola nawe ne-organization yakho, uSIFSA will come kunye nazo zonke ezinye creatives that are here today, ne-organizations ezilapha, to say that SIFSA uzizana lento. Let us all go on this vehicle. Sibonisane ukuba siza kuyiqhuba njani le nqwelo because injongo ziyi-1. Manibulele tata, round 2.
There was a hand. Here's a hand. There's a hand. More hands. There's a hand. This is the last round. Any more hands? Perfect. So, Kalab. Shobut.
Yo, as babe ndichil oh ndiyayithanda kaloku imark ndi-artist ndiqalile. As babe ndichilo that I am here from eBay Creative. Sine group up and people are asking questions that could not come. So I have a question, Kaputandile. As SIFSA stands, how many members does it have in the metro? How many member organizations does it have? And can they list them? What about matters of competition for membership of individuals? Because Bay Creatives have paid up members of artists who are widely known across the metro. Can SIFSA be able to say, here is our individual indirect members?
It's okay. I was going to read a question.
Wanted to ask if you want to join SIFSA, there is a membership, or how much are you paying for? Or is it say free? Everybody can just enter.
Chair, please have order of the session. Thank you.
Ndiyabona uchairperson unengxaki na. Kodwa ke ndizamnyamezela. No, elam ayikokubuza mbuzo. Kuba akho nto ndingayaziyo. Yonke into ndiyayazi. Ii-organizations kudala zaba khona kule metro. Eziba benditshilo ke ngaphambili nam. Ongandaziyo uyafika apha. Amatiletile siwazamile sizi-organizations ezininzi. Asazama udibana. Saqhuba, but siye sanayo ingxaki ekuqhubeni kwethu because there was no umbrella ekhoyo phezu kwethu. Loo nto leyo yayenza into yoba masiphele sisilwa kwasodwa singabanye sayotshona etrongweni yile arts. So I think ke ubukho buka SIFSA anditsho ukuba ndiyinxibile le t-shirt into yoba kuyinto right because remember xana kungekho order endlini impuku ziyadakasa nekati. So bendizama ukuthi ke masizicengeni sisonke kuba iSIFSA leyo ayizokwenza izinto ezingafunwa sithi ezi sector. Iza kwenza izinto ezithunywa sithi siyi-sector. Nditsibe nje kancinci kwenye into endiqondayo into yoba mhlawumbi ebangela into yoba singabi na-progress ibhekele phambili apha kule metro is that thina sizi-artist when sijonga ii-officials sijonga sibone uba nazi ezi bhuli zisibhulishayo xa sibajonga. Nee-officials xa zijonga thina zithi naba bantwana bagezayo. I think if we can break loo wall leyo between thina sobabini sibone into yoba asilwi kunye but siyakomplementana. We need each other because sonke sine-vision eyi-one ukuthi masibe ne-metro right. Ii-artists zethu masiseveke because xa ziseveke ii-artists zincumile nathi officials at the very same time sizawuncuma nathi. So ndiyacela masizameni kangangoko into yoba silibhreyikhe olu donga li-between us. Qala mabili amadonga li-between us the-artist liwe sibe yinto enye. Okwesibini ibe ngeli lethu kunye nee-officials sibonane as colleagues. Andifunda laa nto nokuthiwa artist, no, sisi-colleagues. Xa ubona official ubona i-colleague yakho. So let's take ourselves as colleagues. So if sinokwenza loo approach leyo yonke into ingasmooth. Enkosi.
Sure, colleague.
Uxolo wethu bendiyayazi uba bendithe I'm not gonna say anything because buphuma pha egroupini la question, but I just wanted to extend on it that kuba we normally have discussions. Where that question is coming from is the fact that i-constituency organizations, the individuals, and then a constituency federations, organizations, or sector councils, right? So kula question okay, indirect membership here, individuals. I think I'm just trying to explain ba uprathaila usuka plan ba yeah even ba the now when an individual joins SIFSA, as indirect as it is, ibangathi ke ngoku xa uyijongile uSIFSA no Bay Creatives umzekelo are gunning for the same for uyayifumana. Thanks to those. Yes.
Program director, ndicela uthathe zonke izandla.
Are there any hands that are left? Kukhona ifone echolwe phansi, it's with me. Yeah, identify.
Before ndijoyine okanye umbutho wami ujoyine i-SIFSA, ndinganalo ilungelo loba ndifumane i-constitution so that ndizokwazi uba zithini objectives ne-aims and all that. Because
Back to you, sir.
Ndiyabulela program director. Umhlawumbi sifikelele kweli tyeli sokuba masikhahlele wena ngoku. Sithi artist. 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 Noko, it's beautiful questions coming from beautiful people. Ityebile imibuzo. You know, one, ndiza kuziphendula zonke eza questions. From the first submission, it came from the Bay Creatives Collective Group. Tyler, asking how many member organizations do we have and competition for members of individuals. Now, when I answer that question, I'm going to give numbers in terms of clusters, né? So that we have got a clear indication of where this SIFSA is that we speak of. Right. One, okay, constitution is available. You can have the constitution, but you cannot expect engagement about the constitution outside the platform of the federation. So you can have it to check ukuba, is it in alignment with le uyifunayo? If you want to engage the constitution, then you will have to be a member of the organization in terms of organizational affiliation. So that one is clear. And then, sithi ke ngoku, the competition for individuals, mandiphinde, ndithi the indirect membership as it comes is to assist those artists who have not identified an organization that they want to be members of, but they would want to affiliate with the broader umbrella of the creative industries. But as organizations, now, xa artists engena organizations, uthi esofika kuthi simnika the indirect membership form. Le indirect membership form uthi esoyifilisha ayithathwa zincwadini but isiwa to the relevant sector council where the artist is. The artist must is the operator kwi sectors. So uisa, if it's dance umzekelo, the artist is a dance practitioner. Then la membership indirect uisa to the dance council. Ne? Ukufika kwayo kwi dance council, then i dance council will engage the member to check whether or not the member can subscribe to the dance council. We have not had an instance where the member says, no, I will not be part of the dance council. Because as organizations that affiliate, ezinye zazo are sector specific, ezinye zazo are multi-sectoral. Umzekelo, you've got organizations that operate with sector A1 of performing arts and celebrations. Then you've got organizations that cater for performing arts and celebrations, heritage, visual arts and craft, languages and publishing, right? So it's imperative to have those sector councils to create a balance. Sithi ke ngoku, the question rests into yokuba eBay Creatives has got artists ezaziwayo in Nelson Mandela Bay. And Tyler makes a mention that those are paid members of eBay Creatives. And that xa kuthathwa this individual membership, it might create I-atmosphere ethi uSIFSA ne-Bay Creatives zileqa abantu abanye. I want to say again that SIFSA has a direct membership for organizations and sector councils. Individuals, it's indirect membership that are deferred to the sector aligned sector councils for those artists who are not organized. And then, in terms of the membership of the organizations, they are grouped according to 6 clusters. Uzawubala umntu, nam ndibala ilapha. Champion Galela, le area ilapha koZwide, right? Iyoqhina eJoe Slovo kwa Ward 41, it's Ward 25 to Ward 41. We've got 3 organizations, right? Lillian Dietrichs, in fact, 2 of the sector leaders come from Lillian Dietrichs. Lillian Dietrichs starts Ward 32, iye Ward 48, right? If I'm not mistaken, I'm subject to correction. We have got 2 organizations. Then we have got Izolanqini, where we have got 3 organizations. It's the area of Ward 42 up until Ward 52, the Utineg dispatch area. Then we have got Molly Blackburn. That begins at Ward 1, and then iye Ward 9, and then ipindi Ward 49. The brighter side of Nelson Mandela Bay, you know, your Summerstrand, your Warmer, your Roland Park, your great green bushes. In Molly Blackburn, we've got 4 organizations. And then Alex Matikinga, it's your Motherwell area. It begins Ward 23. Iskip. Iyotsho Ward 53. Uyoqhina Ward 60. The Colchester area, Ward 60. Awuphume ebhayile eza areas ukuthi so. And Alex Matikinga, we've got 3 organizations. Then you come to Govenbeki, where we are. Ne? Where we are is Govenbeki, right? Govenbeki, iqale Soweto. Govenbeki, iyoqhina apha ngaseDas, right? It's Ward 14 up until Ward 24. We've got 4 organizations. And then we've got the Dance Council, we've got the Theatre Council, and then we've got the Heritage Council. We're even in the process of establishing ezinye sector councils. But that is not going to happen in absentia of the sector. That is why we're making a call to say that, 1, organizations must is, artists must come. So where there is no sector council, we promote in Doyokuba, you join one of the affiliate organizations up until such a time where a sector council in that relevant discipline or sector is established. So, ndiyafuna ukutsho ukuba we have a total of 19 organizations affiliating, right? Thus far, it's very important to mention thus far, because ideally you would want all of the organizations in Nelson Mandela Bay to affiliate, because the purpose of the federation is to play that role in terms of getting all of these organizations together. We can't keep on pulling from opposite directions. We can't do that. It's tiring. It's tiring. Where you find that namhlanje kwenzeka le into kuprotesta Bay Creatives, osakhayifu, obanban. And then tomorrow iyafika Northern Areas Arts and Culture Alliance. But now we were never part of that process. You know, so linyani elilithethwa by umninawo. Zibe khona ke ezantshukumo that got people arrested. I was there myself. It was the first name on that list of abantu who were arrested. So, and kubanjwa bantu, it was different organizations, and there was an absence of a federation, right? So, we're here now, and we believe that our presence could play a meaningful role in terms of the targeted objectives of the representative body. And our knowledge, according to us, there's only 2 federations in the country. And if you want to have that representative body, it's advisable to have a federation, not an organization of individual membership. Because once you have that organization, there are organizations with paid members, such as Bay Creatives. Now, Umamela Usakai, where the membership is free. And then eBay Creatives comes with the constituency that is paid. What do you think is going to happen in that SREC office? Every day you are going to have a different organization coming in, and it's going to be difficult to agree on what is to be done. So, ndiyacinga ukuba imibuzo iphendulekile program director. Yonke eminye imibuzo ekhoyo, we are open to say that we can have. Membership is free. There's no membership fee. I mean, it's the cultural and creative industries of South Africa. It's free, open for all. It's made in China. I'm joking. But thank you very much, Chairperson, and thank you very much to SREC.
Just for the purposes of recommendations, ndifuna ucacelwa man. What is the consensus in the House in terms of now a roadmap? Clearly, there's still some work to be done in terms of these affiliations, the setting up of these structures. But do we have a broad consensus that SIFSA would be the main vehicle in which, in terms of a representative body of the sector, or what is the? Because then I hear questions, but I haven't really heard recommendations that we can take forward to say, as a city, we want, SIFSA will be the main vehicle in terms of a representative body, but we will assist the sector to get to that point where all these sector councils are set up, or even facilitate a session where we can actually look at a more, just a specific issue in terms of making firm resolutions around that matter. Thank you.
I am noting hands on that question. I note too. Where have the other people gone? Why are only the same people speaking? My man, I note, is that all takes on this question? Cool. Okay.
I think that does amabuyela kula question kaBadoza ithini a general consensus. Okay. Ndizawuphendula on behalf of BCC and say thina besicela unikwa ithuba lokuhlafuna sifumane za presentations besiceba ukuba nazo with uSIFSA and SALSIF, then we can make informed decisions. But also njengomntu olapha endlini ndiyafuna upropose that we task uSIFSA to do an audit of the organizations that exist in the city and perhaps seek them out and we are invite for people to come and listen to a presentation or whatnot. We can do it jointly where nathi siyangizama uncedisa ukuthi nazi ezinye organizations that were not aware of the processes up to this point, because I really feel that was a failure, because I know that Utawiya knows of IPCC and Uzuki knows of IPCC and, but those people did not say anything to PCC. Ukuthi there are these processes happening that we would have loved to be a part of. And Goko Sikla point, Siku point, Tina, we don't recognize, we don't know these people. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's unnecessary for that to have happened. What needed to have happened is to act like you know what you know and push information forward. Siske Tina decided that we're not going to be a part of it because we're really not opposed to the process. Diyakuva ba uyatsho ba ayizonceda for organizations to go there representing individuals. We speak the same thing. Ayizonceda laa nto, but also ayizonceda to exclude others so that i-process ikherishe on. We need to be part of the same thing. So from Break Creative, sicela ixesha lo go back and report to the constituents and say, silapha ngoku, we're going to write the letter to SIFSA and to SALSIF and get that presentation done. But also SIFSA sicela taskwe to reach out to the space. Ezinye organizations are not cluster based. They are organizations for the entire Nelson Mandela Bay umzekelo. I'm sure ISACAIF is not cluster based. It's an organization for any creative in the city. You're not saying it was formed just for cluster A, okanye iZolanqini and whatnot. And njengoba ndimamele ndinalana uba, I hope apha akukuba kuthiwa ukhona uSACAIF eZolanqini, ukhona uSACAIF kwenye sector, then babalwe as separate organizations. I hope that we're really talking about individual organizations that exist in those particular clusters, because we need to be transparent, and nyani i-posture yethu needs to change. I think that Dizambe Gqiti meetings, I have fought for too long, niyandazi, nam ndisondele phaa kumninawa, but andifuni ude nditsho ngelizwi lam ndithi ongandaziyo kwathi. You understand? I've threatened, I've done all sorts of things. Ndidiniwe ngokuyiloo nto, ndifuna ukulungisa, and we need to act right.
Yeah, enkosi kakhulu umhlali ngaphambili. As mentioned before, ne, and as also presentation yakho bibonisa, we've been on this road before. If many people, we've been on this road before, ukuthi, how do we move forward? Ndithi ke ngoku ndiyakhumbula ukuthi our success as even a task team of Mandela Bay at that time was the involvement of umasipalati. Municipality played a role even in setting up cluster meetings. Molly Blackburn, blah, blah, it was there. So mna bendiqonda ukuthi xa bendifuna uyibuyisela lo mbuzo kumasipalati. Because I still remember now ukuthi ba from the moving from Nuremberg to SIFSA, what happened? No, zange kubonakala irole kamasipalati phayana. So ndifuna ueja mna ba apha kule ndlu bakuyakwazi ukwenzeka kulo mbuzo ke ka Mr. Baduza. Kwezi efforts zenziwa nguSIFSA now, that SIFSA is trying to do, which I know they are very hard. Na besendibona into ukuthi ngokuba umasipalati apho uSIFSA athathe khona anzothi adinwe akadinwanga, but nje makafake isandla uSIFSA ahambe. Emveni koko ke ngoku kuncediseka ukuaddressa nezinto zolilitho. Nam kule ndawo ndinemibuzo, but I know okanye ndine views, but I know that all those views may be answered on the way. So ndifuna ukwenza ikhwelo kumasipalati. Ndicela nikhwele nize nganeno. It would be a success, I know that. Izani. Yeah, and then we all move forward. Bakuzawusetwa pa i-date kwakhona for consultative sessions, interaction ne-artists kwakhona. Bamncede uSIFSA azenze izinto ezi. Then kubekho clarity ke ngoku kwiland kwe-organization. That is what I wanted to say mna. Ndiyabulela kakhulu mhlali ngaphambili.
Molweni kakhona. Uphendula la mbuzo bebuziwe pha the general consensus ne. I think umicacile for the purposes of moving forward and for the report ane icacile icacisiwe le nto ba izithu i-federations asithetha nge-organization mos ne sithetha nge-umbrella federation, so icacisiwe uba kukho le SIFSA nale SAUFISA, if ndipronounce wrong uxolo ane and kukho recognized ane kurhulumente no department. So for our advantage sonke mna ndipushela loo nto masebenze le nto urhulumente ayirecognizayo singayibuyisela emva iprocess. Therefore sithathe le nto ithethwa ngulelebu ane ba ikhabe itaskwa le federation irecognizwayo yabo ibe nexesha lodibana nezinye ii-organizations ezifana ne-BCC, you understand, kwenzela babe nethuba lodicida uba baya-affiliata or not. But for now i-general consensus endiphushayo inotion mna ne le nto irecognizwayo from a national level, provincial level, should be uniform in the regional level in recognition by masipala and the department ingasokolisi. But therefore as bibekiwe ayikwazi ukwenza nto ingakhange ithunywe zii-councils nee-organizations. But before iqhube inikwe laa xesha ke ngokuba kubekho le consultation ngaphandle kwezi zi-19 sezikhona kakade ezingekayijoni le 19 sinikwe ithuba zokucaciselwa nge-constitution kufomishwe indlela ezawuya phambili, but kuvele umntu omnye ozawuthetha or ifederation inye phofu ayikho enye ezawudila nomasipala. So ndibeka phambili inotion uba masivumelane ke uba mayithaskwe le SIFSA uba ibe yiyo le ibhalwa kule report as the federation erecognizayo, but ke ayizokwazi ukwenza nto ngekaconsulti nezinye ii-organizations that exist in the MNP. Ndiyehla.
Umhlambi xa ndizawukwehla Chair. Xa ndizawukwehla Chair, mandithi I think that all of the speakers that have spoken here are saying the same thing. We agree that we will adopt SIFSA as this Indaba, but sim adopta nendo ethi kusekho groundwork that needs to be done. I think we can agree on that. Because enye into endizayithetha yinto yokuba we're not a political organization with unlimited resources. The political organizations have got unlimited resources. So the platforms that we relied on mostly is social media and person-to-person interactions. We did that as much as we could. Njengoba silapha ngoku to report this number. So eBay Creatives has indicated that idinga ixesha ukuba iyohlaba amahlongwane, but it is not opposed to affiliating with SIFS. So I think that we can agree that as this Indaba, we adopt SIFSA as that body. Thank you.
Artist. Okay. So now I must confirm that resolution, right? That this house agrees the adoption of USIPSA as a representative of the arts sector in the Nelson Mandela Bay, and that they should continue the work that they are doing currently, especially in consulting further within the sector to ensure maximum buy-in and participation. So that, because I think the outcome that we all want is that, I think Umdagwetupa said, you don't want these walls between artists, and again, further walls between the art sector as a whole and Umaspalat. Agreed. Lovely. Artist. Program director. No, a quick funny one. The first time I was a bit worried because Ben Kenda Kwetwa, you don't need chief kanene ngesixhosa. Inkosi. Ndaqonda engathi kanti usekhona siyakhahlela apha acimbe naye sizamkhahlela yabo. Because actually they're quite interested in the relationship between the traditional leadership and the arts itself. So I'm hoping ISIFSA can engage them as well. Banazi budget can they buzz. So there was the idea of a jam session, which I think we can save for tomorrow. Yeah, we really have 15 minutes for today. Okay. So tomorrow we will be having a full program again. I'm begging everyone to try and be here by, is it 9? 9, and we start at 9:30. So by 9:15, you're here. You've already networked and reminded yourself of the discussions that we have. And on the program for tomorrow, of course, it's the issue of e-small grants and its processes. That is one, and that's quite exciting. So go through some reflections about that. And then the second one, of course, is on developing a framework for the remuneration of artists. So figuring out what are the rates for what level of an artist. So come open-minded, come ready to engage, and also just continue to, I don't know, do we have room for people to join tomorrow? We'll stick to this grouping that's here. Or just to remind those that should be here to come here tomorrow, so that we can say that the discussions were inclusive and people had participated. I don't know if the department wants to do a formal thank you. Sure. Yes, we'll definitely check that.
Just a few announcements, guys. I have here e-callouts that are currently out. We have this one, which is the main vehicle that we're using to purchase artworks. It's called Supporting Eastern Cape Artists. So I have flyers for that information in terms of how you can submit works for consideration. Also, this program is being run by the Relocation Art Gallery and the Nelson Mandela Art Museum. And then also I have some entry forms calling all top crafters by the Nelson Mandela Art Museum, some information. So you can grab that on the table on the way out as well. Thank you. Yeah, the Indaba for today is adjourned. Thank you to our online viewers. Please join us again tomorrow on our online channels, the Facebook and then the YouTube channel. So thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned for tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Artist. Colleague.